Hello, everyone. I'm Dijon,
Mayra.
And I'm Bree.
and welcome to the Mustacast, the podcast about the art of storytelling and how it's used across different mediums. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see our channel grow, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. As always, free Palestine and do everything you can to support them. So, what have you guys been watching lately in terms of animation?
It hasn't been much for me. I've been in con crunch mode a little bit, kind of. So, uh, as of right now, it's like whatever comes across my feed on my TV while I'm doing stuff. A lot of Venture Bros. I fear.
I personally haven't had the time to really watch anything right now. Things are kind of hectic over here, so I will try and watch something eventually. I'm like trying to make a list at some point. I do kind of want to rewatch Creature Commandos, but yeah, that's about it right now.
Cool. For me, I'm still watching Star Wars Vision, slowly making my way through that. I believe there's 8 episodes, and I'm on like episode 5 or 6, and that's still fun. I know there's an episode that people have been raving about that might be the very last episode that I'm excited to get to. I'm still watching Batman Beyond, Just League the Animated Series, and One Piece alongside Blind Wave, and by the time I watch the next episode of One Piece, it'll be remastered because they're slowly remastering episodes like a dozen at a time. I'm doing HD remasters on Netflix, so it'll be interesting to see what the HD remasters look like and what they change in terms of visual fidelity. Ranma One Half Season 2 has ended. That show continues to be very fun and funny. Yeah, moving on to the few bits of trailers and news we have. I sent a teaser trailer for Devil May Cry Season 2, which apparently was uploaded on socials and YouTube 3 months ago, and we just missed it. So
Wow.
that footage that they were using at the Game Awards during Evanescence's performance "Afterlife," the song that's in Devil May Cry Season 1, that I talked about last episode with A, was from that teaser. I just didn't know
Oh
that
wow.
that teaser existed. In the teaser, we see Dante and Virgil fighting on the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool, that pool that Captain America runs around in Winter Soldier when he's now going past Falcon saying on your left. They're fighting on that pool with the Washington Monument in the background. So that's social commentary on like American politics. It's still going to be in this movie. A lot of
Mm.
people didn't like that. I did mind it. I liked what they did with it, but I know there's a lot of fans who were just like, keep your politics out of my Devil May Cry. Uh,
Like
but
okay.
to an extent, I think that there's a lot of like actual good criticism there, and then there's some that's just a bunch of weirdos. But yeah, I'm
Right.
I'm excited for the second season, despite apparently Andy Shankar being a weirdo. Um,
Yeah.
the extent of his weirdness is I've not like looked super deep into it. Either he's not as woke as he seems, despite the content of the show. I feel like the show is very like anti everything that Trump is for, but maybe in real life Andy Shankar is actually a Trump supporter. Like I don't know, it's weird. It's weird
Mm.
to have somebody with that political leading make a show that's like the opposite in terms of the story they're telling. It's weird. But
Yeah.
did you watch Devil May Cry Bree?
Uh, yes, I have
Did you like it?
finished it. I did like it. Do feel like some things were kind of different than what I used to from like the games and whatnot, but I don't know. I'm pretty excited for like this next season.
I also sent a trailer for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7, Still Ball Run.
Yeah.
We got a full trailer. Uh, and it looks, just as good as any season that JoJo does. But this time, I hope that they do a weekly release like Netflix does with all its other anime. The Part 1,
Mm,
Part 2 release of Stone Ocean completely killed this momentum, and is the
hmm.
reason I still haven't finished it. And I need to catch up before the next season releases on March 19th of next year in 2026. But yeah, Still Ball Run. Well, I was gonna say something that's kind of a spoiler, so I'm not gonna say that. But it's interesting.
It's funny to me that it's this part, like the advertising for it seems very jazzy. Me personally, I would have picked part five to be the jazzy part, with the soundtrack and all, but I'm a little excited. I'm not as heavily into JoJo as I was before, many years, not even many years ago. We'll say like 4 years ago, but this does look good. I am excited for people that are excited.
Yeah, I think JoJo is partly responsible for the reason I finally decided to start this podcast. And it just like at a point in time
Mm.
after high school during the pandemic when I was just like deflated and like didn't want to make art anymore, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure
Mm.
really inspired me to start making art again. So yeah, I love JoJo's, but I also am not as into it as I used to be because at the time, the first 5 parts were out and I binged them. So it was just
Right.
a
Mhm.
completely different vibe. Whereas now it's been forever since a new season has dropped. So once
Yeah.
after they do it week to week, it'll probably be exciting. In the moment, it's just been so long. And lastly, in terms of trailers and news, we got a teaser trailer for the final season of Bleach, and I couldn't be more
Mm.
excited. This has been a
Mm.
long time coming, and this final arc has been amazing so far. And Kubo has been able to add in tons of much needed additional scenes to help flesh out certain story arcs that he couldn't in the manga due to time constraints and him just being sick and tired of being sick and tired and wanting to get the book done. Um,
I respect it.
and yeah, it's they're wrapping it all up in this final core, and it releases sometime in July of next year in 2026. And yeah,
Yippee.
very excited, very excited. And just hopping into reviews with Fiona and Cake season 2. Season 2 has ended, and personally, I loved it. I've seen mixed reviews of it online, but I thought it was awesome. This season focuses less on the multiversal travel of the first season that a lot of people really enjoyed, and instead focuses on Fiona's new life after the events of the first season, which left her world, which was originally just a normal city, um, filled with gender bent versions of the Adventure Time, the normal cast. It left it more magical and with the kind of creatures you're used to seeing from the regular show, not the regular show, the cartoon, but the regular Adventure Time show. um, and yeah, the part of the story that's more of a sequel to Adventure Time, like I've been mentioning over the last few weeks, focused on Huntress Wizard, who is trying to find a cure to save Finn's life after he was poisoned, saving Simon's life. This results in her landing in Fiona's world and working with Fiona and Cake to find a way back to Ooh. And Fiona herself goes on a very messy character arc. Messy in the sense that she's a messy 20 something year old who doesn't know what to do with her life. And it got a little too messy for some, but I liked it. Meanwhile, Cake, who is just a normal cat in this universe, that has turned into a magical talking cat that can stretch, is trying to discover who she is in this weird new world as well as, the new version of herself. And lastly, Huntress Wizard is trying to navigate her feelings for Finn while combating the sinister nature of her powers as she attempts to save his life. All of which leads to all kinds of fun situations and drama that I really enjoyed. The ending was great, and the tease for next season was awesome. The ending made me tear up a bit and feel like I was 10 years old again, watching Adventure Time for the first time. And as at the very end of the episode, as Fiona and Cake and a few other characters are like running off into a field, I instinctively blurted out Finn's infamous catchphrase and the name of the show. And I said it's Adventure Time, and it was a real feel good moment. Made me feel like a child again. Very fun. But I know you started watching it, but you didn't finish the first season, is that right?
I did not, but it's on my list. Once, things get a little slower around here, I'll definitely binge
Yeah.
it.
Have you seen any of it, Brie?
I have seen clips, so I do know some of the stuff that's going on, like what's happening with Finn and Huntress Wizard, and like what's going on with Fiona and Cake on their side of the world and everything. And I do have like some thoughts on Cake's relationships, and um I also didn't know that she was just like a regular cat before like she gained sentience and powers. So that's interesting.
So, moving on to comics. What have you guys been reading lately?
It's been light for me too in the comics and honestly just general reading department, but I've made a goal this year to read at least 6 books over the course of the year. More, of course, is better, but um, you know, right now I'm rereading House of Leaves. I feel like I talked about that already, but I'm getting pretty far into it. And the second reread It's kind of driving me crazy because I'm noticing things that I didn't notice my first read because I didn't know them, and it's kind of insane. And then of course comics, the usual suspects: Shadow's House, Claymore, the Witches or Witch Hat Atelier. Claymore is actually proving to be a lot longer than I had expected, especially for a manga that came out during the time it did. I'm not mad at it. There is a lot of. I'm not mad that there's a lot of Claymore because I really like it, but it's been making getting through it pretty slow. And then of course book club stuff. Teehee teehee.
Anything for you, Brie?
For me, um, I have not been reading anything. If anything, I should go through the pictures I have on my phone and just go to like a Barnes and Noble and buy all the books that I want and then get into my old lady era and just read a book before bed every night
That's what I
instead of
do.
just like being on my phone.
That's what I do. I read before I go to sleep.
Oh man, it stimulates the brain. I need it bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's the goal this year. Trying to make healthier decisions.
it's always good. For me, still reading Song of Achilles. I'm a little over halfway through the book. I left off with Achilles and Patroclus joining the war with Odysseus, alongside Odysseus. And I'm excited to see where that goes. In terms of comics, I still have a stack of physical comics I need to read. So far, I think I've only read the latest issue of The Ultimates, which was, I think, issue number 19. In terms of DC Comics, which I mostly read digitally, I read Action Comics number 1092, Nightwing number 132, the last two issues of Birds of Prey, issues number 27, 28, which I'm sad to see the story in because I really liked it. But, feels good to have one less book to read when I'm reading so many. I read Justice League Unlimited number 13, Mortal Legend Batman number 4, Absolute Batman number 14, which was fire. It was the end of the big Bane arc, the second arc of the book. And, if you guys decide to read more Batman, which you probably will eventually, you'll love Bane. I read Absolute Wonder Woman number 14, which also, the next issue, 15, which I bought physically and I need to go pick up, is a crossover with Batman, the first crossover between characters, and between the main characters at least. There was like a spin-off single issue comic called Absolute Evil that was having all of the villains across the books get together and form this version of the Legion of Doom. But this is the first time two heroes have crossed over, and that's Batman and Wonder Woman in Absolute Wonder Woman number 15. And then in Absolute Batman number 16, they're crossing over again. I also read the very last issue of Green Arrow, number 30, which another one that's I'm very sad to see. Though I like Birds of Prey, but Green Arrow was one of their best books, and it sucks that it's ending. I read Flash number 27, New Gods number 12, another book that ended, but was, I think, planned for 12 issues, so not as sad. Written by Ram V, same writer as Aquaman Andromeda, so I definitely suggest checking that out. It'll teach you about a bunch of characters you probably haven't had too much experience with in terms of DC. There's a Mr. Miracle focused episode in Justice League Unlimited, but yeah, you definitely like this, I think. I read Cheetah and Cheshire Rob Justice League number 4, Supergirl number 7, World's Finest number 45, and lastly, I read Justice Society of America number 13 and 14, which were they're doing a year one story chronicling the origins of the Justice Society of America in the 40s, and I read the parts 1 and 2 of that, which is why I'm hopping in at 13 rather than number 1. But yeah, moving on to the book club. We're starting off 2026. I almost said 2024 for some reason. We're starting off 20. Maybe I said that because I think that might have been when the Absolute comic started. I think it was the end of 2024. But yeah, starting off 2026. I almost said 4 again. With Absolute Wonder Woman, written by Kelly Thompson, with pencils and inks by Hayden Sherman, colors by Jordi Belair, letters by Becca Carey, cover by Sherman and Belair, and edited by Chris Conroy. A quick synopsis of the first 3 issues. In issue number 1, without the island paradise, without the sisterhood that shaped her, without a mission of peace, what's left is the absolute Amazon. In issue number 2, Gateway City has never seen anything like the Harbinger Prime, the enormous, ravenous monster that has just risen from the depths of the ocean to darken its shores. But the Harbinger has never seen anything like the unstoppable Diana, Princess of the Underworld. Issue number 3. A harbinger is but a messenger. It is the tetracide that you must fear. For the tetracide leaves nothing behind. Diana's true enemy has been revealed, and it will take everything she has to save Gateway City from oblivion. As usual, we'll start with our opinions on the art, and I personally would like to start by talking about the incredible character designs by Hayden Sherman. The art itself by Hayden Sherman, colored by Jordie Bellaire is incredible, but Hayden Sherman specifically designed this version of Wonder Woman, and it's awesome. Though I still prefer the classic Wonder Woman look because it's the one I grew up with. This design is very fun, very very dark in comparison to the main universe. The blue, the American flag colors with gold, sometimes silver, and in this one it's just red and black with some silver. And I love the fact that she just straight up has the Buster Sword from Final Fantasy VII, just straight up.
It's so cool.
It's just a Buster Sword. Most Wonder Woman fans hate when her main weapon is a sword because it's a tool for killing and should be a last resort. And we tend to prefer that she uses her lasso, which only binds foes and forces them to tell the truth, which is very emblematic of the character herself. But if you're going to give her a sword, make it a big ass anime sword. Also, making her bigger and buffer than ever, yet covering her entire body with armor, even her face towards the beginning of the story, is a bold choice for a character that, for all intents and purposes, has been a bit of a sex icon for decades, 80 plus years. And those are the types of design choices you look for in a universe that's actively trying to do something new with these characters. But also, this design feels like it lends itself more to the female gaze than the male gaze
Definitely.
of her classic
For
look.
sure.
With her being
I'm
fully
gazing.
covered, but then also being just this big buff lady. And, especially now more than ever, people are into big buff ladies.
This one's for the girls.
Yeah. And also, in terms of art, Gateway City looks very pretty, despite everything that's happening. I'd like to live there, minus the tetracide. That'd be fun. But who knows? If I was getting attacked by monsters, but I got to see Wonder Woman every now and again, maybe I'd be okay with it.
You know what? That is something.
Good
that you would
point.
Be okay with.
Maybe that's a trade-off. But what did you guys think of the art and design in this comic so far?
For me, what really caught my attention is like the paneling for each page. Like it's very complex, and the way that they use shapes like circles and like what is it called? A rhombus. Okay. But one of the panels they actually used like the design of her chest plate as like a panel design, and then there's like action panels within. I don't even know how to explain it, but like there was like a page where she's like falling after like the arm incident, and like it's just like each square captures the action of her falling before like flying off.
Yeah, comics tend to do that a lot, and I used to think it was weird, but the more I'd like analyzed and like actually stared at the panels to look like, okay, what are they doing here? I was like, oh, actually, that's kind of cool.
I've never seen this before. Like this is my first time, and it's like really interesting. I'm like low key taking notes. But also for her character, like I didn't expect her to be so kind despite being raised in hell. So that's like an interesting take that they're doing.
Yeah.
Very much so.
This book is very red and black. Very kind of like colors that are seen as like evil and dark. But the character herself, Wonder Woman, is this very kind character, and that's a very interesting dichotomy.
I agree.
And for me, all the art is gorgeous and the colors and all that. But what really stuck out to me this time around was the lettering. Like, there's just something about it that's so appealing to me because it's like this comic is also very text heavy. I feel like that's just a consequence of Wonder Woman comics and like how eloquent and like well spoken she is. But it never felt dense at any point while reading it because of the letters. Like they're arranged and spaced and drawn in just the right way where it's like it feels like I'm reading a conversation, which is really nice. I really like the letters.
Yeah.
For this one.
Shout out to Becca Carey. Excited to get some thoughts about very specific story moments as we get into the synopsis. So I've started doing a smart thing uh, by using summaries online and various different reviews to help me create these summaries. And for issue number one, I used fandom.com. Okay, so with issue number one, when an unknown object appears off the coast of Gateway City, the news station The Gate sends their reporter Alan on the scene to report what they know of the mysterious upside down pyramid hovering in the air, leaving government officials baffled. Before long, the object unleashes hundreds of flying creatures called harbingers upon the civilians of the city. As citizens begin to panic, as their city begins to suffer catastrophic damage from their assault, another hellish visitor arrives, Diana Themyscira. Also, warning, this is the longest synopsis. The rest of them are much shorter because just a lot was set up in this, and I promise you it's much shorter than it could have been.
Right.
Flashing back to years ago to the Wild Isle of Hell, we find the great sorceress Circe, who has been imprisoned in this barren wasteland. Scavenging for resources, she's visited by the sun god Apollo. Apollo hands her the newest occupant of the underworld prison, a baby Diana, who he says is the last of the Amazons, and that the rest of their people are being punished for crimes against Zeus. Furthermore, Circe is told that she may never speak the word Amazon to prevent the child from knowing her origins, and she attempts to say it, but nothing comes out. And once Apollo leaves, Circe, feeling no responsibility for the child, simply lays the newborn on the ground and watches the serpent approach her. But to her surprise, Diana snatches the snake mid-bite and tosses it into the distance. Intrigued by an interesting child, Circe decides to raise her, watching as the beasts of hell are no more capable of harming the child than the first serpent. The young Diana proves herself compassionate by treating the various other hell beasts that attempt to prey on her with kindness and compassion, charming her new adoptive mother. As the years pass in hell, Circe and Diana manage to turn the barren wasteland progressively more more comforting and livable. While initially reluctant, Circe repeatedly comes to realize that the way to fall in love with a child is by raising it. Back in Gateway City, Diana warns a group of soldiers that they must evacuate the city of all civilians within a mile, because the Harbingers are not dead, merely stunned. Soon, a massive arm of a new Harbinger reveals itself from the object above Gateway City, and a more monstrous version of the Harbingers called Harbinger Prime appears from the upside-down pyramid. Is it upside down?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Diana and Pegasus begin to fight the Harbinger Prime before we flash back once more to the Wild Isle, where Diana asks her mother of the word that she feels within her. One that she knows is important, but is afraid to speak. Circe consoles Diana, assuring her that she is not afraid of the word, but afraid of the change that will follow it, and asks her to say the word she feels within her, Amazon. As Diana of the present stands her ground once more against Harbinger Prime, the Diana we can currently see of the past asks Circe what the meaning of the word is. Circe explains that the Amazons were once protectors of the world, and that the world may fall without them. Compelled by her mother, Diana proclaims herself an Amazon over and over again, with the Diana of the present proclaiming it as well. Then approaching the Harbinger to announce that as long as she draws breath, this world will not be his. So, I will start with your guys' thoughts, since I just spoke a lot.
I was gonna say,
Okay.
issue 1 came out swinging. Like immediately from the jump, I'm like, I'm locked in. I'm rocking with this quite heavily. And like, I don't know, it's so interesting. The concept of your hero being raised by one of their main villains is just, it's so fascinating. I think more comics should do that.
Which is actually, I'm
And
glad you brought that up, because I just thought about it, because Bree just talked about rewatching Creature Commandos. I'm realizing that this is your first time seeing Circe. She's in Creature Commandos.
yeah.
She's the main villain. So Bree, you have experience with Circe.
I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
only knew who she was because you've mentioned her before on the podcast. And when it was like Circe, I was like, oh, I know her. I remember. And then I got confused for like a single second. And I'm like, wait, that's her op. Why is she being raised by her op? And then I remembered the absolute Wonder Woman. And
Yeah.
we can do anything we like.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's version of, the famous character from the Odyssey.
But it really the whole thing with the Harbingers. And honestly, one thing that really surprised me was that even though it took like a couple tries, the military actually listened to her. You never see that happen. Usually they're like, you know, you gotta evacuate and get out. And then they're like, we don't know who you are or what your intentions are, so we're not gonna listen to you. And then a whole bunch of people get killed. But it was refreshing to not see that happen this time, or at least see a lot less wanton destruction than there normally would be because of like a lack of listening to instructions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like they could have moved a bit faster, but that's just me. But I'm
Yeah,
glad they did
definitely.
eventually listen,
Right.
because like there was no reason she should have came back and was like, why haven't you guys moved yet? Like, please hurry up.
Right.
And yeah, I sent a couple uh, screenshots from that first issue, and yeah, the paneling. You're right, Brie. It is awesome. It's incredible. Like you said, the use of,
It's
of
so neat.
a lot of circles, which
A
isn't
lot of
a
circles.
very common panel shape. A lot of
Mm.
unusual panel shapes in this.
Mhm.
And you know, when she first appears, we see her fly in on a bone a skeletal Pegasus. Fully clad in armor. The only thing uncovered are her fingertips. She's wearing fingerless gloves, and then she reaches into a bag of holding and pulls out the biggest sword you've ever seen in your entire life. That is just straight up the Buster sword, and then like slices at the various different harbingers, and it's very cool. And then we get a shot where she
Same.
like jumps off Pegasus and lands on the ground, and it's sick as hell. And then
If I had
she
a
takes the blood from the dead harbingers and rubs it across her eyes. It's insane how badass Wonder Woman is
true.
just at the very beginning of this issue.
Dijon actively falling in love.
Right.
I've been in love with Wonder Woman for a long time.
If I had a nickel for every DC woman hero that had a secret horse that we didn't know about, I'd have 2 nickels, which is not a lot, but it's crazy that it
Yeah.
happened twice.
But something I really wanted to kind of emphasize is how the kindness that we referred to earlier when we were talking about the art itself and kind of talking very broadly, but we see it here how the various different monsters of hell attack Diana, but she's just too powerful for them to really do anything to. And as a result, she just kind of uses the fact that she can't really be harmed and that she can overpower them to just kind of just be, she is kind to them and then they learn to be kind to her. And that is like just a very big part of Wonder Woman's character
Mhm.
that I love that they emphasize so heavily in this book, in the very first issue. Same thing with her relationship with Cersei. Very similarly to the Beast of the Wild Isle, Cersei, in her own way, tried to harm her, but couldn't because she's too powerful. And then, even as a baby, she showed a certain level of kindness to Cersei that resulted in her softening up and just being a mother. Something I'm sure she didn't expect to be when she was punished by being thrown on this isolated island in the underworld.
Right.
And yeah, there's that line I said that was a direct quote. Let me find it real quick. She comes to realize that the way to fall in love with a child is by raising it. And I'm like,
Mm.
just love and
Mm.
peace and kindness.
Very
Yay,
That's
true.
what
found
Wonder Woman is about.
family. Hmm.
Found family will always be my favorite dynamic.
Yeah.
Same.
Brainiac?
But I liked seeing the progression of their home,
Yes.
like
Mhm.
from rags to quote unquote riches, and like seeing the creatures of hell cuddling with Diana as she's sleeping. I was like, that's so neat. Because I
Yeah.
was like, isn't that the snake from before that tried to bite her when she was a baby? It most definitely is.
Yeah, and seeing her grow up
It's
at the
so
same
cute.
time.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't know if that's like her Pegasus, but like there's like a teeny horse in there.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Like when she's like playing with the demons, there's like a teeny horse in the background. I was like, is that Pegasus? He's so little.
Hmm.
Any more thoughts on issue number 1?
I will say a little bit for me, I was kind of like struggling to track the action. It's not
Mm.
as like detailed as like what Supergirl was. Like it does leave room for like imagination though, which I do kind of enjoy.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel that way about. I feel like a lot of comics. They're not as good as at the momentum of action.
Hmm.
American
Yeah.
comics specifically, in comparison to something like manga, they're not really good when it comes to the momentum of
Yeah, you kind
action.
of just gotta fill in the gaps,
And the
Mm-hmm.
ones that
which
do
is fine.
it the best are very clearly the artists that grew up reading manga. But moving on to issue number 2, where I am pulling from Chandler McNeil's review from comicbookmovie.com. The issue starts right where we left off with one woman fighting Harbinger Prime. And her lasso is revealed to actually be called Nemesis. And unlike the lasso of truth, which forces those it holds to tell the truth, Nemesis makes them feel pain, proportional to the sins committed by the person it's holding or the thing. Very similar to Ghost Rider's penance. The Harbinger admits defeat, and Diana mercifully allows it to live as long as it promises to never return. Meanwhile, behind Diana, appearing from the smoke and ash of the battle, is Steve Trevor. We then flash back to the Wild Isle, where Diana finds Steve Trevor washed up on the shore and takes him back to her home to be healed. After he awakes, Diana explains to Steve that he's in the underworld, and he wonders if he's dead, but it's not confirmed in this chapter whether that is the case or if he wound up in the underworld some other way. He then introduces himself to Cersei and goes for a walk with Diana, where they get to know each other a bit more, and maybe a little romance is budding. It's here where Steve comments on Diana's height and points out that he's a very tall man, and she stands shoulder to shoulder with him, meaning she's well over 6 feet. She's tall as hell,
Mm-hmm.
which we definitely notice later on, which we'll get to. Back in the present, they embrace each other, reunited after an undetermined amount of time. And Steve then brings Diana to his commanding officer, Cole, his commanding officer, Cole. Commander Cole proceeds to yell at Diana out of frustration. We get the thing that didn't happen in issue 1, but you both were expecting, which is just military men yelling at the lady for just not doing what they want her to do. And Diana points that out, that he's just frustrated because he does know what's going on and he doesn't have control. And then she begins to take charge of the defense, much to the chagrin of the commander, who begins yelling at Steve instead, which upsets Diana, causing her to menacingly stand over him and explain that they need her more than she needs them, and that they can continue discussing the defense when everyone has calmed down. And in the commander's rant, he says to Steve, the rest of the world may think you some kind of superhero meets Jesus. Possibly meaning that Steve did die somehow and came back, and it was seen as a miracle. After rebuffing the commander, Diana leaves the room to feed her horse, with Steve following to apologize for his commander, but is distracted by what we learn to be the Pegasus that was slain by Zeus. Also, a little-known power of Wonder Woman was revealed here, which is also a power she has in main universe, which is to talk to animals. She's a Disney princess. But their convo about Pegasus is cut short by a pain-inducing sound, which Diana runs to find the source of and sees a massive demigorgon-looking creature standing in the ocean. Oh, there's a note I forgot to delete that just has nothing to do with anything. But actually, that's the end of the issue. So what are your thoughts on issue number 2? A lot less action, more talking. Well, there was a decent amount of action towards the beginning, and then the rest of the issue was just some military men being angry. Being intimidated by the 6'3" lady that was towering over all of them.
Right. I understand what they're setting up with the Steve Trevor thing, and it's like their budding romance is very cute, yada yada yada. That's a Wonder Woman for the girls. Okay, listen.
We'll get to that in issue number 3.
Oh boy, it's like I can't picture her with a man. I fear I just can't.
No, same. If it was, he'd have to be picked.
Oh, absolutely. But outside of that, I really, 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 really liked issue 2. I liked the way it kind of did exposition, but didn't dump it on top of us. And I like that it showed a little bit more of Diana's past with Circe. I still don't know how to pronounce it, and I've read the Odyssey, the Madeline Miller book, and this. One day we'll figure it out. I'm gonna say Circe because that sounds right. But more of her past with Circe, more of her as a young adult with Circe. I thought that was really really interesting to get that kind of glimpse into her character where she's in that phase of like, Mom, I'm getting older.
Was
It,
it?
it was cool. I liked
I
it.
forgot the note.
What's that?
It was the note that I actually skipped over because it was out of place because I forgot to delete it. But I did want to mention it. Was that was it in issue number 2 that she like is talking to her mother and she's like they sent me a gift and she was referring to Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And,
is.
Yeah.
and it was just her having a little crush on Steve. I'm like, he's a gift to me, And her mother is just like, "What are
It was
you
like a
talking about?
gift.
You think they get? You think
Right.
they gave you a whole man as a gift?"
But yeah, I liked issue 2 a lot.
I also like issue 2, and you like explained it perfectly. I don't think I can add anything on to it. My thoughts are with issue 3 because, whoa.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah. What else? Minus the hell part. This is very similar to Steve and Diana's first meeting, and their dynamic in the main universe. And yeah, I think that's about all I have to say.
I was gonna say, now that I think about it, it was in what was that other Wonder Woman comic you made us read?
Against
It
our
was-
will. That's what it sounds like.
Um,
Made us read.
George Perez's the first issue.
I think so, yeah. And Steve was in that, wasn't he?
I
If
think-
I'm remembering correctly.
I think he showed up at the very end.
Okay.
Moving on to issue number 3, the final issue we'll be covering this episode. We open on Gateway City Natural History Museum, where we're introduced to Barbara Ann Minerva, who sees Diana on TV and is the first person, as far as I can tell, to call her Wonder Woman before she runs off, presumably in the search of Diana. We then go back to Diana, who begins to inform the soldiers about the creature on the beach. It is called the Tetracide, meaning the 4 killer, because it kills you in 4 ways: death of fear, death of mind, death of body, and death of soul. It completely takes away your ability to feel fear, lures you in with a sound, and then eats you and destroys your soul. Diana suggests that they evacuate the city as she flies off to fight it, in which she attempts to wrap it up with her nemesis lasso and force it to submit like Harbinger Prime. But before she's able to, she's restrained by the Tetracide's tentacles. Before we get a flashback to the Wild Isle while Steve Trevor was there and see them fighting a Hydra. After fighting the Hydra, they have a fireside conversation about how, despite the hardships of the Wild Isle, Circe and Diana have turned it into a home. Their own little paradise, as Steve puts it, as a not-so-subtle nod to Themyscira, aka Paradise Island. Diana then responds with, "Love is transformative, Steve, always," which is a huge aspect of Wonder Woman's character, both here and in the main universe, that I also love. And Steve says that the service could use a lot more of that. Next, we learn how Steve escaped the underworld with the help of Diana and Circe. Diana finds a spell that would send Steve back to man's world, but Circe warns that it requires a great sacrifice. And the sacrifice that Diana makes is her dominant arm. After doing so, Diana and Circe perform the spell and send Steve back to Gateway City. Back in the present, we see the arm being restrained by the Tetracide. Is the one that she's not supposed to have. And she undoes the magic that's creating this arm she has and retreats to the Kraken, which is the name of the bar that the soldiers are using as a base of operations. And she pulls a mechanical arm out of her bag of holding and places it on her stump. Upon seeing this, Steve understands what Diana sacrificed to bring him back. And he calls it the arm of a hero, where she called it the arm of a warrior. Diana then yells at the soldiers to leave once more, which they refuse to do, so she comes up with a new idea: to deafen the entire city, using a spell while she fights the Tetracide. As she rushes out to execute this plan, she bumps into Barbara, who catches her in the gayest way possible, potentially setting up a romance that Wonder Woman fans have been wanting for decades. Do not look up Barbara Ann Minerva. That will be the biggest spoiler in the fucking world if you don't know who she is. Maybe you can figure it out. But don't think
the Minerva is tipping me off a little bit.
yeah,
But
probably. Don't look it up. But yeah, Barbara calls Diana Wonder Woman, which confuses her. And she then explains that it's what the Amazons call their greatest warrior, sparking Diana's interest. But before they could talk about it more, the Tetracide begins screeching, so Diana rushes off to finish her plan. She rushes off to where the reporter we saw at the beginning of issue number 1 is, Alan, who is reporting live. And she tells the citizens of Gateway City on live television what her plan is, that she is planning to deafen the city, and that it will be up to those that see this broadcast to stay calm and show their neighbors kindness and compassion by helping them understand what's going on. Ending the message with, Wonder Woman believes in you, taking claim of the name Barbara gave her, before unleashing her deafen spell. So, what were your thoughts on issue number 3?
Issue number 3 was such an intense chapter. Like, I did not know what was gonna go on at all. Like, when you told us about Absolute Wonder Woman, this was not what I was expecting. So it's
For
like a pleasant
sure.
surprise. But also the contrast, like when it goes into like the backstory about how Steve got sent back or like essentially revived, like the contrast in colors between Diana and Cersei as she's like sitting by the fire with her arm just off and she's like fine with it, mind you, like she's not reacting at all. And how she's like shrouded in red and like Cersei's colors is kind of dull. And then as they're casting the spell, like, yeah, they're green, but it was mainly Diana who was like super green. So I feel like there's some kind of symbolism there. I don't know just yet. But also, I think it's pretty sick that her arm was magic. 'Cause I was like, oh, did she just grow it back somehow? But no,
That's what I was thinking.
It's like, where did that come from?
Yeah, the reveal of the prosthetic went crazy. I was because it's like, it comes out of left field, but when you go back and you look at it, you're like, wait, that makes total sense. And like, I like that they didn't make it this whole big, like, whole bunch of hullabaloo. Like, Diana did what she knew needed to be done, and then it was done, and she's lived with it ever since. And I think that's a really good way to like represent that kind of thing, where it's like, yes, her normal has changed, but that hasn't like changed her fundamentally as a person. And like, it also really shows, like, sets up again that selfless, that kind character that's like, she give up an arm for a man that just so happened to fall into where she lives at. Like, that's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
In all
I
the
still
best
want to
ways,
know how
of
he
course.
got there in general.
Yeah.
Because they do mention in like, I think this chapter that it wasn't like a gift; he was a test essentially.
Yeah, which was really interesting to me.
Yeah, we get a lot more of that kindness and compassion, which is essentially Wonder Woman's entire ethos. With her kind of encouraging, the people of Gateway City to also spread that kindness, and we see it a little bit in the other Wonder Woman comics we've read so far. But the Amazons were created to help men and women essentially get along, and help the world progress through cooperation. And Wonder Woman, after the Amazons kind of fail at that, Wonder Woman kind of goes off on her own to essentially continue down that path, and we see that a bit here as well. Which I love how much of the core Wonder Woman character is retained in this version of the character, which is kind of the idea of the Absolute Universe, is that the circumstances are different, but the idea is to show what really makes these characters tick and make them who they are.
The absolute essence of their character.
Yes. And so, Brie, you mentioned how this is different from what you expected, and I have a feeling it is. What the kind of the next thing I want to focus on before we move on, is it's the magic. Is it the magic that's the different thing for you that you weren't expecting?
I guess like this series started off or is starting off really, really strong. I think it might be the magic in like the witchcraft. Because I don't think I see her using magic like that. So to see it now is pretty interesting.
Yes. So, it begs the question, why has this version of Wonder Woman brought in so many new fans? So Wonder Woman used to be a much more magical character. But as the years go by, she became less and less magical and just became a female Superman, where she's just strong and can fly and is super durable and fast and shit like that. Basic ass superpowers. But this book doubles down on the magic and takes it even further by making it less, your basic comic book magic like Loki and Thor. He just waves his hand and shit happens. Instead, she's a witch and she has to mix things and have ingredients, and magic has a cost. And when we see her start to perform a spell at the end of issue number 3, she tells them to point the camera away because the average person hasn't earned the right to perform magic, because we don't know how responsible these random people are. If they see this spell and it's put out on the internet, people just start doing a deafened,
Making other people
just start
deaf.
doing a deafened spell. And like, yeah, she's very magical. And they need to, this is the biggest thing from this book, and the reason why of all the Wonder Woman comics I've read so far, this is my favorite, is the magic. It helps make her very different from, I would say, the Trinity of DC. Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman. What sets her apart from Batman and Superman, I feel like, is the magic and the myth. It's the Greek pantheon and the magic surrounding it, and you remove that magic, and she becomes not that similar or different from Superman in terms of specifically power set. And the magic helps make her different. And
for sure,
I like how much they're leaning into that here. And this is something that I hope they see and they realize, oh, we can do that in the main universe. We can bring the magical elements of her character back, because it happens a lot in George Perez's run, but she'll she says it, you hear her several times, she'll bless the gods before she does something. And she did that a lot in the main universe, in older comics. And she would perform magic, through, boons from the gods all the time. And that's something I just want more in the main universe, and we're not getting that with Tom King's run at the moment. And that's why, like, most hardcore Wonder Woman fans are flocking towards this book and encouraging other people to read this book. And this is being a lot of people's very first Wonder Woman book that it's, leading into them going back and reading older ones. And it's awesome. This is just everything I want from the main universe Wonder Woman.
I was to say, I found myself, like, a lot of the times inadvertently in my head when they would do, like, their little spells, I'd be like, so much it be, like they do in Hades 2. In my head, like, because that's exactly what it reminded me of. I'm like, this is like, the way Wonder Woman is characterized in this is like Millennium, if you took all the brashness and the boldness of Zagreus and then sprinkled that on Millennium a little bit, and I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's fun.
Yeah, for sure. On top of that, of course, it's a completely new universe that's being explored for the very first time, which makes it an easy jumping on point, for people who are afraid to read comics from the main universe with its 80 plus years of history. And as a result, people who start with the Absolute comics, because they're easy jumping on points, will likely start to read other comics now that they're more
That's the hope, at least.
comfortable with the format. But yeah, any more kind of just overall thoughts of Absolute Wonder Woman so far?
I can't wait to see more.
Yes, I am.
So there's this first volume is 7 issues. So we're gonna do 2 issues next episode, and then another 2 issues. Those last 2 issues are actually gonna be by a different artist, but just as good as Hayden Sherman. You're gonna love the art in those last 2 issues. But essentially this arc wraps up in the next 2 issues, and then those 2 issues are their own little mini arc that leads into the next one.
Oh, okay. Not bad at all.
All
What I
right.
like about these Absolute comics is that they're like really easy to read.
For
Like,
sure.
super easy to read.
Yeah,
Not like I'm illiterate or anything, but like they're very enjoyable.
it's hilarious you say
Yeah.
that, because I was editing out a clip to post earlier today, and you said the exact same thing in the last episode.
Because I don't want people to think I'm illiterate when I say it's easy to read. I mean, like
Like,
it's
you
like
said
very
it the exact
comfortable on the
same way
eye.
in the exact same tonation. Like, my brain low-key had deja
Because
vu, and I was like, am I editing right now? What's going on?
yes, you
Am I dreaming?
you are dreaming.
Okay. Moving on to TV and film. We don't got a lot. You guys been watching anything?
Nope.
I have. Oh, okay. So for TV, I finished watching Hunting Wives with Angel, and the ending blew our socks off. I recommend watching it. The show is very freaky deaky, so be be warned, but it's very lesbian freaky deaky. So if that's your thing, if you love women,
Well, sign me
here to
up.
watch.
No, but
Well, say less. But
Right.
and then we started watching another show that's kind of similar to Hunting Wives called I think it's called either Love and Death or like Love and Murder. But it's about like this couple that orchestrates like an affair because like they obviously aren't happy in like their marriages and they needed something to fill that void or whatever. But one starts getting more attached than the other and like one ends up breaking away from the affair and like mending his relationship with his wife and everything, and she is not happy about it. And I'm very concerned on what's going to go on. And then we watched one episode of this show called, I think it's called Paradise, about like uh this agent or whatever who's supposed to be guarding the president underground and like this utopia thing built under San Francisco, I think. So like they have
Fascinating.
like an artificial sun and everything. They're supposed to like come out with like a season 2, so Angel wanted me to watch an episode. And then after that, we watched one episode of what's it called? Manifest. About a plane that went missing for 5 years, and then everyone showed up, and they're like, "What the heck? We thought you all died." They're like, "No, we've been on the plane for like like a day or two." And they're like, "What? A day? It's been
that's
5.5 years."
that's interesting.
That is
It's really
interesting.
cool because like once the people come back, they all have some form of like ability. Like the main character can hear a voice, which is her own voice, that essentially tells her the future in a way, but like only like with one word or like a few words, like set them free or slow down or something like that.
Mm.
That's
But
interesting.
it's really interesting. I recommend it. I recommend the three I just listed, the four.
The five. For me, I rewatched Challengers. I got my nice new shiny speaker. Breeze experienced the speaker. It's a good speaker. Because we had a little New Year's slash birthday party for a friend, and had some people over. I got a new couch. Got the Apple TV 4K. Got the sound bar. So I
Mhm.
had some people over. We played some games. We had a good time. Uh,
Good time, good time.
Rewatch Challengers. That was fun. Watched Wake Up Dead Man. That was the first movie I watched with the soundbar. And there's a moment where like somebody plays a church organ, and it was very loud. And
Oh,
it had the intended effect, which it was done to like be a jump scare. Because um, yeah, it was loud. And the thing that made me rewatch Challengers in the first place was Marty Supreme. Watched that in theaters. That was really good. Very good movie. I definitely suggest checking it out. When it hits streaming or in theaters if you want to see it in theaters. Uh, but I'll talk more about Marty Supreme and Wake Up Dead Man in the review section. Moving on to trailers and news. I got one thing. One thing. So I've learned that they've been cycling between different trailers, teaser trailers for Avengers Doomsday, which comes out December 18th this year, which is wild to say. It's a New Year's. January 6th, we're recording this
Right.
on.
right.
Never forget. But did you know that was like fucking 5 years ago or 4 years ago or something like that?
Really?
I thought it was 2 years ago. No,
I thought it was last year, as in like 2024 last year.
Whoa.
it was years ago, multiple years. Wild. But
I'm really fuzzed.
yeah, at the Avatar Fire and Ash showings, they have been showing different teaser trailers. I saw the Captain America one, and we talked about that last episode. I say we talked about that last episode, but I think that's the one that's going to be edited into this episode.
Okay.
And it revealed that Captain America will be returning.
Hmm.
I meant to send you guys the trailer. I didn't do that. You should look it up and watch it.
Okay.
It's very short. And he has a baby. We don't know if it's his baby. He just has a baby.
Whoa.
That's
So
Bucky's baby.
that's him and Bucky had a baby.
Nice.
But Battle Up Saber on Twitter says the MCU has actually become a perfect adaptation of the Marvel comics, in that they both love to walk back on any interesting changes they made to the status quo out of fear of being rejected by the general audience. And
Yeah.
that is so true. This man better not come back permanently. But yeah, that happened. And we got one for Thor, which I sent like a week ago, and then we got another one today. That got leaked at one point, and then people saw it in theaters because it was in theaters before they put it online, and we're talking about it and showing screenshots, and now it's finally out. And I've been waiting because I wasn't 100% sure. I was like, "Is this AI?" No, it's real. So let's start with the Thor one. With the Thor one, it's it has voiceover, unlike the Captain America one. With Thor, praying to his father Odin to protect him in the battle to come, so that he may return to his newfound daughter from the ending of that one movie that I hate. But overall, it was a good teaser, and honestly has me way more excited than any. It had me more excited than any other piece of promotion so far because of the tone and seeing a more serious Thor again, which I'm excited for. But it had me the most excited until the one we got today. Which, did you watch it, Bree? Have you seen it?
I did not.
You should look at it right now. Just watch it right now. You have to see it. You have to watch it now. We'll wait.
Okay.
I'll watch it as well. Actually,
Okay.
it's very
myself
short.
then.
It's not even a minute long. Oh well, it is exactly a minute long.
It's 1 minute and 9 seconds, but I'm gonna mute myself. Okay, I am back.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
So, if anything was gonna get me hype, if anything,
When I tell you, I got chills.
bruh. Not only are the X-Men back, but we got Cyclops in the 90s fit. In the 90s fit. James Marsden coming back. Hopefully he gets some goddamn respect this time instead of being cucked by Wolverine.
Oh my gosh.
like he was in those movies. And the fact that they got a whole trailer,
this was a well-done teaser,
that was Professor X, Magneto, Sir Patrick Stewart, Sir Ian McKellen, and James Marsden as Cyclops. Feels like those characters are probably going to get the most focus from the X-Men side, which is good. Wolverine just had a whole fucking movie. Push him. He can be a goddamn background character. We don't need any focus on Logan. He just had a whole movie with Deadpool. He can take a break. He'll get another movie. We know he will. Cyclops isn't a character that's going to get his own movie, so let's focus on him as one of the main characters in this story. Fuck that Wolverine. Get him out of here.
This has me on my soapbox again. When are we getting a Jubilee movie? JK. I know it'll never happen, but I hold out hope every day. Man. I hold out hope every day that one day there will be an announcement and I will be vindicated.
One day
it's never going to happen.
You'll just have to become a director so you can make it yourself.
They'll adapt the story arc where Jubilee became a vampire for a while.
Exactly. It'd be so fire.
There was a point in the comics where Jubilee was a vampire for a while. She also has a kid.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, she has a kid in the comics. She has a whole kid.
Insane.
That's interesting.
But yeah, what did you guys think otherwise though?
This was sick. I fear I was not interested in Avengers Doomsday because I just don't. Marvel's not my thing outside of the X-Men. But now the X-Men are in it, so now I have to watch it.
Right. I will say I haven't been to the actual movie theaters in a while, but seeing that teaser, I have to go in theaters and see it. I have to be a part of the experience.
For sure.
But I do have to. I feel like it's going to be one of those movies where I'll need to go to a subtitled showing because the mixing is going to be crazy.
We gotta make it a group activity.
Yes, please. I would love to do that.
That's around the same time as the Game Awards too. We're gonna do this, and then we're gonna watch the Game Awards watch party. Bree, you weren't here when we talked about this Supergirl teaser trailer, so I'll ask you the same question I asked A in the last episode. How does it feel to see a trailer for a comic book movie and know what scenes from the comic that they're pulling from?
Oh my gosh, I was shook. I was like, if this is not necessarily a faithful recreation, but I feel like if I was in the theater and then I'd point at the screen, it'd be like, I know that part. I know what's about to happen.
It'd
it's
be
so
that
exciting.
that Leonardo DiCaprio meme from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah, what do you think?
But so far it looks good. It looks really good so far. I'm glad they didn't reveal too much how trailers are nowadays. That's why I kind of don't really necessarily watch trailers because they pull a lot of from the intense stuff that happens later on in the movie. Spoilers essentially. But I think the trailer did a good job of like only showing this just a little bit. Like we didn't even see like the main villain like that. Like you get like a glimpse of him.
Yeah. His design's very different in a way that I'm not enjoying. They made him look like a punk rocker almost. It's strange. Because we talked about
Yeah.
before, Krim is a character that is like unfortunately beautiful.
Yeah.
He's an unfortunately really good looking guy. Despite how horrible of a person he is.
You know what? That's a good example of real life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they made him look very, very, very grunge looking, very grungy, very
Yeah.
homeless.
Yeah, we were talking about how this trailer it's missing the bright colors that we see from the comic and if and you know it could just be a case of you know the movie doesn't come out till like what mid next year and
Mm.
it's in pre-production currently, so you know a lot of those scenes just not might not be ready to show and in an actual
Yeah.
proper first trailer we'll probably start to see some of that stuff. But if we don't have any of that in this movie or if it's like barely in the movie and it's
I'll
all
be so disappointed.
just this like
Yeah.
drab color palette that we saw so far, I'm gonna be very upset. I'm gonna be like, oh, you guys suck. Like, what do you mean you're adapting one of the most beautiful comics ever drawn, ever put to page, and you're just gonna not do any of the very pretty vistas that we
Give all
saw
the
in the
colors.
comic? That would be insane.
Right.
I want to hope that they're just holding out. You know, they're saving the good stuff.
That's the hope, I think. I feel like they're just like holding out. I want to give them the
Yeah.
benefit of the doubt because I really enjoyed this comic and I want to see them do it justice.
Mm-hmm.
We also got a little bit of information about the next Superman movie titled Man of Tomorrow. Um, James Gunn posted on social that they are hiring actor Lars Edinger to play Brainiac in Man of Tomorrow.
What?
He posted, in our worldview, in our worldwide search for Brainiac in Man of Tomorrow, Lars Edinger rose to the top. Welcome to the DCU, Lars. For those that don't know, a few months ago, James Gunn announced that the Superman sequel would be titled Man of Tomorrow, with art from several famous comic artists of Superman alongside Lex Luthor and his power suit being posted across socials, and all the actors from the movie, well, specifically Superman's actor David Cornsweet and Lex's actor Nicholas Hoult posted different pieces of art than James Gunn posted from other comic artists of Superman and Lex, and it suggests that they will be working together, and the title Man of Tomorrow refers to both of them. And fans everywhere immediately assumed that the villain has to be Brainiac, after it's forcing Superman and Lex Luthor to work together. But also, despite being one of Superman's biggest foes, Brainiac has never made his big screen debut. So everybody figured it was about time, and it looks like everybody was right. And I'm very excited to finally have a lot of people be introduced to Brainiac. Like, Brainiac is like one of Superman's biggest villains, but like most people don't know him because he hasn't been in a movie. And that's kind of insane.
Yeah.
I only
That's
know
where I'm
his
at.
name. That's it.
Like, you said what?
I only know that man's name. That's it. Like I know he
Yeah.
exists, but like who is he?
Yeah,
I was gonna say you have a leg up over me. I didn't even know he existed.
see, exactly. And that's insane to me because I'm like, I think Superman villains, I'm thinking, okay, Lex Luthor, Zod, Brainiac. Those are like the top three. So like, yeah, it's crazy that we haven't gotten them until now. But yeah, next we have the Odyssey, an actual full trailer came out. And you know what happened, the day we recorded? You know what I did that night?
What'd you do?
Started reading Song of Achilles, and I haven't been able to put it down.
Isn't it so good?
It's so good. It's so gay. I love it.
It's so gay.
Gayest book I've
That
ever
is
read.
so good.
It is.
I gotta read it.
Yeah, it's real good.
For sure.
I've just been
It's like the
reading it nonstop. It's real good. I'm absolutely about to run through that book.
because like the Iliad itself is already pretty gay. Like, you know, they do the whole thing. It's like, oh, two male warriors that were definitely just friends and nothing else, even though they shared a tent and like one when the other was killed, like dragged the body of his enemy around the Troy temple walls and then refused to give it back, which is a big thing in like ancient Greek culture, and then was buried with him. Like their ashes were mixed together, which was something that only happened with married couples. Like, but they're not gay though.
Yeah. Hopefully
It's
that
a bro thing, you guys.
hopefully that didn't spoil anybody listening if you somehow didn't know the story of the Iliad. But
Yeah.
there are a lot of people out there who like, I've never read the Odyssey. I will now, since you've given me what you deem to be the best interpretation of it, and I'm finally gonna read the Odyssey. And I'm gonna try to do that before this movie comes out. And I want, unlike what I'm doing with Song of Achilles and Iliad, where I'm gonna read the Iliad after Song of Achilles. I want to read the Odyssey before I read Circe.
Which I would recommend.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to read both of those before the Odyssey comes out. And yeah, I've said it before because we got a teaser trailer before. This is the first proper trailer. I am not remotely interested in this movie just based off of the trailers. The only thing that has me interested is the names involved, specifically Christopher Nolan. It's like, okay, I like Christopher Nolan movies. I'm probably going to like this. But from a visual standpoint, it looks boring as hell. I'm not going to hold you.
Oh. Well,
I don't like the way this movie looks. I really don't like the way this movie looks. Benny Safdie, who is voicing Bowser Jr. in the Super Mario Galaxy movie, is playing Agamemnon. And some people hating on the way he looks, and I'm like, you know what? That's the one thing in the trailer that I actually like, because he looks intimidating. Because he's like wearing this like weirdly angular armor that like completely casts his eyes in shadow, and you just can't see them. And I'm like, that's interesting. I like the way that looks. But other than that, movie's kind of sauceless, which is crazy to say about a Christopher Nolan movie because he usually has the sauce. But this movie kind of it's kind of saucy. It's so gray and blue, and like. and that blue text on the black background, absolutely not ADA.
I hate it.
Absolutely
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
How did that?
It's so bad.
How did that like get past anybody? I could barely read that shit, and I have my glasses on. Like,
yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm like, huh?
That
what
is
this?
Definitely not ADA.
That is not ADA compliant.
Like, of all, see. As a big Odyssey enjoyer, like the actual original classic, of the colors you could have picked for the Odyssey, you picked blue. Bronze was right there, and you can still have your like grim dark. Ooh, this is edgy retelling of the Odyssey because it's for modern audiences. You still could have had that and picked a bronze color palette. You chose blue. I was like horrified watching the trailer.
Yeah, it's quite literally looking bleak. it's just like
literally looking
everything. And also there's two things that this man is known for, which are like some of the cardinal sins of movies. Certain scenes being way too dark, you can't tell what's happening, and the audio mixing being dog shit and you can barely hear what's happening. That happened in the audio one especially happened in what is it? Tenet. Good movie. Sometimes you could barely hear what the fuck is happening. You know what I want to do? Actually, I don't think I've rewatched Tenet. I saw it. Did I see it in theaters or did I watch it on streaming? I can't remember. I saw it at least once. I maybe saw it twice, or maybe I'm mixing it with the like YouTube reaction I watched. But I saw it at least once. And it was hard to hear. Now that I have this sound bar, I might watch it again to see if it sounds better and I can hear things clearer. No, I've heard that people who like watch it on like sound systems, it sounds better. So I might try that. But yeah, I'm not particularly excited for this movie. I'm gonna watch it unless I hear it's bad. But I doubt that's gonna happen. It's probably gonna be good, but it just doesn't look visually interesting.
Yeah, no, the only way they'd get my butt in that theater is if I'm hate watching it, and I like putting my money where my mouth is. So.
Any thoughts, Bree?
No, you guys basically said everything. Like, I was looking at the trailer as you were speaking. I was like, this is very dull. Like, what's going on here?
It's like not interesting at all. And it's like, if you're trying to, it falls into the pitfall that a lot of movies based on Greek myth and like Greek classics do, where it's like, oh, because this is a serious movie, it has to be like, very dark, very grim. And it's like, Greek culture at the time was actually fairly colorful, all things considered. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I wish more directors would lean into that aspect, because it's like, it makes for a nice, I guess you could say dichotomy. It's like the terrible, terrible things that are occurring set against this colorful backdrop, because this is supposed to be a legend. This is supposed to be a myth, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like a
Uh,
good example of that is that one movie where it's like the Spartans, it was like 100 of them or something,
300.
where I forget.
300,
Yeah,
yes. 300
yeah,
is one
no,
of my
that's good.
favorite
describing
adaptations of.
describing 300 as that Spartan movie where there are hundreds of them is hilarious.
No, because like it's in the name, so I was like,
It is.
they'll know, right?
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, 300. While I do have my issues with it, because the battle, what it covers, the Battle of Thermopylae is like one of my favorite historical events. Not to be a nerd, but like 300 is what I'm talking about when I'm like a movie that's sets it against that colorful
Mhm.
backdrop. I like that movie quite a
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. In terms of cast, Matt Damon is playing Odysseus.
Ugh.
Tom Holland is playing Odysseus's
I was
son.
not expecting to see him there.
Yeah. Like I said, Benny Safdie's playing Agamemnon. Zendaya is playing Athena.
I
That's
don't think
interesting.
that fits at all. I love Zendaya so much. I don't think that was a good
I
casting.
mean, why not? She's great. She's just good at her job. I mean, I've seen her in so many like things where she just does a great job. I'm like, I can imagine her in any role.
That's fair. I don't know. I just when I think of Athena, especially Athena in the Odyssey, I'm like, I don't know, but they might cook. I think
And
it's Zendaya. I
we
do like her
saw
before.
we saw Anne Hathaway in the trailer playing Penelope. Um, but as I'm looking through the cast, John Bernthal was in the first trailer. He's playing let me see if I can pronounce this. Menelaus.
Yeah.
Okay. But the one that surprised me that I didn't know about at all is Charlize Theron is playing Cersei. That's cool.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah. Um, talking about a movie that actually does look visually interesting. Earlier today, I went to see Avatar, Fire and Ash.
Hmm.
A movie so long that I got out of the theater, it was dark outside. Uh,
Oh.
Whoa.
yeah,
Wait, how long is
I
it?
very purposely went to see that movie at 12:45 because I was like,
Oh
What?
my god.
because I was like, it's near a Best Buy, so I could go grab my stuff from Best Buy. Um, but also I didn't want to like come home and it's 1 a.m. because I saw it at like
Yeah.
10 at night. But yeah, it's 3 hours and 60 minutes.
Oh my
Mm.
I don't
gosh.
know why
And
you're
you know,
so surprised. Those first two movies are also just as long.
it's just
I don't remember it
it's
being
so
that long.
absurd to me. And like my
It
mom was trying to get me to go see it with her on Christmas, and I was already kind of iffy about it because I'm like, I don't really like the Avatar movies that much to go see them in theaters. 3 hours? Hell
Did they
no.
did they at least like take a break?
No, of course not.
No
Somehow
No,
intermission?
somehow it felt shorter to me.
That's good.
I liked it, but in comparison to Way of Water, it wasn't as good. Way of Water is like
Mm,
way better than the first one, even though I like the first one. This one, I would
mm.
say better than the first one, but nowhere near as good as Way of Water because unfortunately, this movie just feels like Way of Water again. I'm watching it, get towards the end, I'm like, the end of this movie is like literally the exact same as Way of Water. I'm like, what's happening? Did he lose his mind? Why did he make the same movie again? I was,
Right.
it was like, I liked it, but it was just like, why are you telling the exact same story again? It was very strange. It was the exact same story with like an additional like tribe of characters being introduced and being added on top of that. And I'm like, that didn't change it that much. It's I don't know, very, very, very strange. I don't even have much to say because I don't want to spoil anything. It's also just it's just the same movie twice. It's very weird. We don't need 5 of these movies. Okay, 3 is enough. Maybe one more just to do something different this time, actually. But after that, you can
Um,
stop. But the last pre-roll trailer was a teaser. But yeah, moving on to a few quick reviews. Let's start with Marty Supreme. Yeah, I saw Marty Supreme a week or so ago, and it was really good. Quick synopsis: Marty Mauser, played by Timothy Chalamet, is a charismatic 1950s New York shoe salesman and hustler who uses his dazzling table tennis skills and bravado to navigate the gritty underground world of the sport, aiming to become a world champion despite the constant trouble and self sabotage. It is loosely inspired by a real life ping pong legend named Marty Reisman. So, it was a good movie. Marty himself was a piece of shit the entire movie. I hated that man. He was hustling everyone, including his friends and family, and he sucked. And he was doing it all to achieve his goals. And goddamn it, Timothy Chalamet did an incredible job as him. 5 out of 5. Highly recommend. Good movie.
Nice.
Fuck that nigga Marty though. The movie version. I don't know about the real life version. I don't know that man. But movie Marty sucked. I would have punched that man in the face. He was annoying.
Oh my gosh.
He deserved to get his ass beat.
Wasn't it? I was to say, I had not watched the movie. I had not even heard of it prior to the news coverage I've been seeing around it. Regarding a certain scene that Timothy Chalamet did not do with a stunt double. And it did intrigue me. Huh?
I said, oh. I think I know what you're talking about.
I don't even. I was to say, I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, but
maybe
it intrigued me. So
I don't think you don't care, do you, Brie?
No.
Okay, yeah, you can say it.
Yeah. So there's a scene apparently where Marty gets spanked, and they had a stunt double ass for Timothy Chalamet, and he was like, "No, if this guy's gonna get spanked, I want it to be my ass immortalized on camera." And you know what? I respect it.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I respect it.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me.
But last review I have is for Wake Up Dead Man, the third movie in the Knives Out franchise. It was good. It was like I said, the first movie I watched after getting my soundbar, and it was incredible to listen to. But quick synopsis. Wake Up Dead Man is about a baffling death inside a quiet church that draws Benoit Blanc into a tense investigation where faith, secrets, and suspicion blur as a close community turns against itself. And I'm gonna just read this review from Sydney rocket ship emoji on Letterboxd because they put it better than I could. The most thematically complex and thoughtful of these so far, and I really like that it has the most distinct character arc for Benoit himself, using his and Father Judd's relationship as a tool for Rian Johnson to explore not only his own relationship to faith, but how to reconcile our personal beliefs with the universal duty to afford each other grace when it is difficult to do so. Similarly to the first film, there are words spoken at the climax of the mystery that bring me to tears. Johnson clearly aware of the moving humanity found at the center of tragedy. I admittedly think there are one too many layers/things going on, but who the hell cares? I would watch a billion of these. The use of light and shadow is so beautiful. Thank you, Steve Yedlin, and also Josh O'Connor is fucking sensational, and he is Josh O'Connor, also one of the leads in Challengers. It's real good. He's real good. Yeah, it's very much it's a murder in a church, and one of the lead characters alongside Benoit. Oh, really? Benoit Blanc's never the main characters in these. It's another character usually. The main character is played by Josh O'Connor, and he's a priest who was sent to this church as punishment for punching another priest. And yeah, it's real good. Definitely check it out if you like Knives Out movies or just murder mysteries. I know you plan on watching it, Bray.
I love Knives Out movies.
Yeah. All right, moving on to video games. What have you guys been playing?
Yakuza 0, and that's about it.
I'm getting back in. I took a little bit of a break from Metaphor Refantasio because it was getting like real heavy real quickly. I'm at the point in the story where like the start of, I guess you could call it the third dungeon, and it was stressing me out really bad, so I took a break. But I'm back now. I missed my wife Hulkenberg so bad, and it is nice to see her again. And that's been nice. I've been playing a lot of Minecraft with friends. I've also been really big into Outlast lately.
Really?
Really. Because it's like I can't do horror movies, but horror games are pretty okay with me. And Outlast is one of my favorite horror games of all time. It's like if I had to rank like my top 3, because I say Soma all the time, it's like Soma, Outlast, Whistleblower. And I know that's kind of cheating because Whistleblower is a DLC, but it's that good.
I have not played Whistleblower, only Outlast.
You should play Whistleblower. It's really, really... I honestly like Whistleblower better than the base game.
Really? Okay.
Really.
Have either of you played the second one?
I have. I didn't like it.
Oh.
feel like it fell really flat because it's like what it was setting up was really interesting, but like it was trying so hard to be more gory and more over the top than Outlast 1 that it felt cheap and like schlocky. And I'm like, I'm not here for like a slasher film. If I wanted a slasher film in video game form, I would just go watch a slasher film and play a game at the same time. Like the whole reason I like the first Outlast game is that it's gross. Yes, very gross, very disgusting game. But on top of that grossness, there's a very compelling narrative, and you get really attached to your main character. But in Outlast 2, I thought he was so whiny and annoying. I don't know. Maybe if I play it again now, I'll give it a second chance, and I might like it a little better. But as it stands,
I understand.
Cool.
That's really it for me.
For me, still playing Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Haven't been playing it as much lately, but I plan on getting back into it since I finished Ghost of Yotei, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But part of the reason I haven't been playing Metroid as much is because I randomly decided to hop back into Cyberpunk 2077, my second playthrough. And I realized I was one mission away from the final mission, but I want to do all the side quests before I do the final mission and also do the DLC again. So I've been playing that again. That game's fun. Love that game. You should play that game. It's a good game. Started finally, despite the fact I bought it full price around the time it came out. I finally started playing The Quarry at the party we had with them.
God.
And as we finally started playing that game. When we'll finish it? Probably never. But
I mean, we could finish it for Angel's B-Day. Like if we'll talk, we'll discuss.
But last but certainly not least, I went to the Final Fantasy Distant Lands concert here in Baltimore, Baltimore Symphony Orchestra. It was awesome. It was really cool. They were specifically doing a bunch of music, like focusing on Final Fantasy 14 and 16. I don't play 14, that's the MMO one, but I love 16. And music in 16 is so good. And they saved essentially everything I wanted for the end. They started with what they had to start with, and I knew they were going to start with the like Final Fantasy overture. It's like one of the few songs that is in every single Final Fantasy game. And it was great. That was probably my second favorite song that they performed. They saved the best for last. Like if they were wrapping up and I was like, damn, crazy. They did this whole thing and they didn't fucking play One Winged Angel. What's going on? And then then the conductor, he got back on stage and was like, of course we're gonna play One Winged Angel, but we want you guys to sing with us. When we get to the part where they go Sephiroth, you all yell out Sephiroth, and I was in there yelling Sephiroth.
Did they do the whole 8-minute suite, or did they cut it short?
No, they cut it short.
Dang.
Yeah, it was a good time. But in a little bit of trailers and news, something a little serious. And it starts with a question. Should we be boycotting Xbox? This is coming from the video Why We're Boycotting Xbox, and maybe you should too, from People Make Games on YouTube, an incredible YouTube channel that does a lot of really good video game journalism, especially surrounding the more political side of video games. So at some point over the last few years, Microsoft came under fire for supplying Israel with the technology to surveil the people of Palestine, which was used to help them continue their mass genocide. And after tons of protesting, they terminated their contract with a specific group within the IDF. However, a data center in Middenmeer, Netherlands, that houses hundreds of millions of phone calls amongst a bunch of other correspondents from Palestine and, from the Palestinian people, presumably, begging for help from people, is being built by Microsoft, meaning that they are still complicit in the crimes being committed in Gaza and Palestine as a whole. And Microsoft is a massive company with their hands in so many things that boycotting them completely is unfortunately impossible for the most part. But the one place that, is the easiest place to boycott them is Xbox, because it's a luxury item that can, more easily be boycotted. And, as serious as the situation is, let's be real. it's never been an easier time to boycott Xbox specifically.
Yeah.
Microsoft as a whole, is a completely different ballgame, but Xbox, despite their studio acquisitions, they don't have much worth buying. On top of that, here's the reality of how I'll be boycotting. I was, as we discussed before, committed to waiting for Xbox's console PC hybrid instead of buying something like the Steam machine or building a PC myself or buying a pre-built joint. But since I'm already in the Xbox ecosystem, but as long as they are supporting Israel, I will no longer be doing that. So the Series X will be my last Xbox console, and no, I'm not going to chuck it out the window because of this. I paid $500 for it, and I still got games on it that I want to
Right.
play. But I won't be buying any new games for it. But I can't say I won't be playing specifically Xbox published games. Like I said, they've acquired so many fucking studios.
I was like, because that's another thing. It's like,
Mhm.
despite Xbox kind of being sucky when it comes to like releasing new games, they own everything.
Yeah. So the reality is, I'm still going to be playing some games that are published by Xbox, but I won't be playing them on Xbox because luckily they're releasing their games everywhere. You can play them on PC, you can play them on PlayStation. So I'm specifically just I'll be buying as few of them as possible. So I'll be picking and choosing now. And I will not be buying them for Xbox. The only Xbox games I will be playing are the games I already have on my Xbox. Any future Xbox games will be played on PlayStation or PC. So yeah, fuck Microsoft.
Yeah.
Man, that's
Straight
insane.
up.
Yeah, at the end of the
That
day,
is crazy.
do what you can to help. This is how I choose to do so, alongside donating what I can. And, for you guys who never got into the ecosystem, it'll be so much easier to avoid
Yeah.
I was
Xbox.
never an
And you know
Xbox
what?
player.
Like, there was I was
Oh,
subscribed
yeah.
to Game Pass.
I was
PC Game
also
Pass.
forgot to mention, I already stopped subscribing to Game Pass because it costs too much now. Now I will definitely no longer be subscribing to Game Pass.
Yeah.
It's like as if I needed any more excuse to not hop back on Game Pass.
Yeah, so do with that information what you will. Moving on to trailers and news. First, rumor has it a new Alien game is on the way, and it's being described as Shadow of the Tomb Raider with xenomorphs. This is coming from Vicky Blake at Eurogamer. When I heard that, my first thought was yes. So, Eidos Montreal is reportedly developing a new game based on the Alien franchise. According to Insider Gaming, the new game, described as Shadow of the Tomb Raider with the Xenomorphs, has been in development since 2020 under a variety of names, including Marathon, and switched developers multiple times. With enemy AI designed to adapt and react to whatever tactics you use, it's thought the gameplay will balance combat with platforming and puzzles, with an emphasis on stealth and resource management in a single-player arcade survival horror game. The anonymous source also revealed character names and abilities such as Grappling Hook and Magnetic Boots, and teased the team's hope, and teased that the team hopes Sigourney Weaver will reprise her fan favorite role as Ripley. But this is in no way confirmed as yet. And the source also intimidated. Oh, what? Why did they write intimidate? That doesn't make any sense. What is this person trying to say? They assumed that the budget is around 56 million.
Oh wow.
Well, that's 56 million euros, 75 billion USD.
Wow.
That's a big leap. And is hoping to release for all major platforms in 2028. Which means that a lot of these details and mechanics could change between then and now, or now and then. But yeah, this sounds awesome to me. This sounds like the Alien game of my dreams. As we discussed in a previous section, Alien is one of my favorite entertainment franchises, and I've been wanting a more action-oriented Alien game for a while. And the description definitely sounds like the most recent Tomb Raider games, but with the xenomorph AI from Alien Isolation. So combining those two things sounds cool to me. I'm not mad at that at all. What do you guys think?
I think it's cool in theory. I just hope that, like, in concept, the execution is just as cool as it sounds. Because I really liked Alien Isolation and, like, what it did for kind of, like, the horror landscape. And I'm hoping they still hit that, like, scary note and don't lean too much into, like, the action mechanics.
I don't know. Aliens is a good movie, and it's mostly an action movie.
We'll have to put that on the watch list.
Also, Resident Evil 4, great game, mostly an action game.
True.
But yeah, what have you been in the watch list?
The Alien movies.
Ooh, wait, true. I've only ever seen the first one,
Same.
and it's scared me so bad.
Okay. Speaking of Resident Evil, we got more Resident Evil Requiem news. It has been confirmed that there will be one campaign where you switch between Leon and Grace. This is coming from Famitsu in an interview with the game's director Koshi Nakanishi and the producer Masato Kumizawa. Here are a few bullet points that I got from Aesthetic Gamer 1 on Twitter. They say the only playable characters in Resident Evil 9 are Leon and Grace. There's no one else. They say that Grace's gameplay is going to be based around Resident Evil 2 Remake, and Leon's going to be based around Resident Evil 4 Remake. And both will also evolve the gameplay seen in those games, and have new innovations for the series. They also confirm that there's only one campaign where you switch between Grace and Leon at multiple points, similar to the Resident Evil Revelations games, in a single campaign. So there's not going to be A and B scenario like I theorized before. It's just going to be a single campaign where you switch between the two. They also confirmed Leon can be played from first person, just like Grace. There will be an in-depth gameplay video of both Grace and Leon's gameplay at the Resident Evil Showcase in January 2026, which I'm sure will end with them revealing, oh, and we have a demo. Whether or not it's going to be just the demo that they there's the full demo, like a gameplay video of it is out on YouTube, which is you playing as Grace escaping this giant creepy lady. And yeah, either it's going to just be that demo but released to the public, or it's going to be two demos, and one of them is also going to be a Leon demo. And I hope it's that. I hope it's two demos, and one of them's Leon and one of them's Grace. But yeah, if you didn't know, Brie, in this game you'll be able to play in both first and third person, which is really fun. And yeah, as you guys know, you said third person is trippy.
No, I said first person is trippy.
Yeah, the last two were first person. But yeah, as you guys know, I previously said that Resident Evil 4 was my favorite in the series, but after replaying Resident Evil 2 recently, I realized that I might actually like 2 more. So the fact that this game is combining my 2 favorite Resident Evil games into one, while also involving them, is just music to my ears. You love to hear it. This sounds like it's going to be the perfect Resident Evil game for me.
Made in a lab for you, I fear.
Exactly. I'm very excited for this. But last, in terms of trailers and news, is a trailer that I've been pushing back because we just had so much stuff to talk about in the video game section lately, is The Godslayer, which is the Avatar: The Last Airbender game we've always wanted. So, the developers... You said what?
It's because if you were going to ask my thoughts on the game, I was going to say it's like a mix of Assassin's Creed and Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah. The developers described The Godslayer as... Enter an Eastern-inspired steampunk metropolis where gods known as Celestials reign with a divine fist. In this premium open-world RPG, you are an Elemancer who refuses to bow to his creators. Infused with elemental powers and a heart of vengeance, you will dethrone them all. You will rise to be the Godslayer. No current release date. This game looks awesome. Okay? Now, we've had not so many, but we've had a handful of games from Chinese developers that look like they couldn't possibly be real. So I don't doubt that these games aren't real anymore. Like when I see it, I'm like, no, that's the game, and it's just gonna be that, and it's gonna be cool. Whether or not I actually be into it, who knows? Because like that what is it, Wukong gang wasn't for me. Phantom Blade Zero comes out sometime next year. Maybe that'll be for me. It sounds like it'll be for me. People got their hands on it and said it's more like a hack and slash and a Souls-like, so that might be for me. This one just looks like Avatar, and you're just playing as the Avatar. You just bend the elements, and you're fighting gods, and it's like, what? It looks cool as hell. Why hasn't Nickelodeon just what are they doing? Paramount, Nickelodeon, make it happen. We want this. This is what we want. This is just all we want. We just want to be able to play as the Avatar, bending elements in an open world That's all we want.
They're too busy making shitty live actions to focus on what the consumer actually wants.
But what do you guys think of the gameplay you saw?
I thought it was really cool. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I talk all the time. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. But I was gonna say this looks like a game that I would actually play. And as I was watching, I was like, "Is this not Avatar?"
Definitely, like when I went into it, I was like, I don't know about this. Just from like the thumbnail, but like in watching it, I was like, oh, actually, this is the coolest thing ever. And I'm in that same kind of boat where it's like I don't know if I'll play it, but I'll definitely keep tabs on it to see if it's worth playing.
I will say it does look kind of slow in like the movement, but like it is just a trailer, so maybe something will change as like they release updates or whatever. But I feel like depending on how it goes, I would definitely buy it. Also, the character designs seem pretty interesting, especially the god towards like the end.
Yeah, the world is very fun. It reminds me of Legend of Korra because that was more steampunk.
Yeah.
But last but certainly not least for me is Ghost of Yotei. I finished it. In my notes it says last night because last night would have been the night before we were supposed to record. But instead it was like 2 days ago. And it wasn't planned. I was just playing it. I was just having a good time. And then I got to a point where they were like, from this point forward, you cannot turn back. And I was like, oh, this is the end of the game. I just stumbled into the end of the game.
How scary.
I was just playing it very casually, and they're like, oh no, the game's ending, brother. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm not going to sleep yet. I'm just going to finish this game right now. So I did that, which was my goal. My goal is to finish one of the 3 games I started playing, like towards like the end of the fall, beginning of winter, which were Metro Prime 4, Ninja Gaiden 4, Ghost of Yotei. I finished one of them. And now it's time to focus on finishing the other 2. It was a great game. Ultimately, it doesn't do anything drastically new or different from the first game, or just open world games, action games specifically in general. But it does everything that it does do very well. The world and environments are just as beautiful, if not more so, than in Tsushima. And just like the first game, I use photo mode way more than I do in any other game, and took way more screenshots than any other game that I've played. The combat is improved with the additions of new weapons. And while the stealth doesn't meet my standards for stealth games, as a fan of games like Dishonored, Metal Gear, and a Splinter Cell, it's serviceable. And what they do to kind of offset that is it's not as emphasized as it is in Tsushima, where his whole thing is that he's like the first shinobi, which they do touch on in this, because this story takes place like 300 years after the events of Tsushima. And there's a side quest you go on where you can get his sword. You can get Jin Sakai's sword. And, they go into like, they touch on like what a bit of his life was like after the events of the first game, which was cool.
Fun.
And, lastly, the story overall, I think is a bit better than Tsushima's, but I've seen a lot of people say that it's like way better. To me, it's not way better. It's good and it is better, but it's not like substantially better. My favorite part of the game, despite what I just said about the stealth, is the snowy region where we fight ninjas. You learn a ton of new techniques and gain new weapons that really enhance the gameplay. And the enemies become more difficult, and it just becomes way more fun once you get to that point. Overall, I think I'd give this game like a solid 4 out of 5. Good game. Not exactly what I wanted, I think maybe I don't know, the way they described it, it felt like it was going to be essentially like Samurai Red Dead, but no, it's more Ghost of Tsushima, which is like, what more could you ask for? So like, yeah, good game. Once you get around to playing it, I'm sure you'll love it. It's a good time.
Definitely. I'm excited.
Yeah. There's still some side quests and things to do that I'll get around to doing.
Of course, as it goes.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I have. So have you been playing any more Hades?
Bit on and off. I haven't been making any. No, that's not true. I've been doing a lot of surface runs lately, and I've gotten a little bit farther. I almost got to the end of the ships. So we're whatever I'm doing something right.
Okay. You meet anybody else out there on the ships?
I did meet Icarus. That was really cool. He was really cool. We only chatted briefly. And I only met him once. In all my other Surface runs, I still have yet to see him.
Okay.
Alas.
Yeah, I haven't been playing much either, but I'm probably gonna get back into it now if finish Yotei. But that's a game I'm
Say
not
when I
rushing.
play it, I want to. Right. I want to be able to play it when I can like fully focus on it and do a whole bunch of runs in one sitting. I don't like when I did this with Hades 1 too. Like I don't like playing it in short stints because it's like it leaves me unsatisfied. I'm like I could have squeezed one more
Yeah,
run in because they're so quick.
I can, like, when I play, I don't mind just doing one run and then stopping. Sometimes, because I love that they do it, is that you can just stop in the middle of a run and pick back up.
Yeah.
I don't tend to do that, but if I ever like feel the need to, I do it every now and again. If I'm just like tired, I'm like, okay, I need to stop playing and go to sleep.
I was gonna say that's what I'll do. It's like I'll do runs until I get like really sick of doing runs, and then I'll just leave off in the middle of whatever run I have going on.
I thought you were just gonna say you just do runs until you get really sick, and I was just like, I don't think that's healthy.
That would be crazy. Honestly, when I first got the game, that's what it was like. On like PC, listen, it was nefarious.
I just play Hades and I don't eat until I get real sick, and then I stop.
I don't
eat, don't drink.
I don't sleep. I don't nothing. It's all Hades all the time.
But yeah,
Gamer bucket.
if you guys don't have anything else, you can find all of our ads in the link in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more storytelling content, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. Peace.
Bye.
See ya.
All right.